Welcome to the Andy Dare Show. This is episode 44. This week I'm joined by Josh Gardner. He's a writer, he's a comedian, he's a musician, and he's well known for his characters such as Deaf Frat Guy. His new album, Winterbush, is in stores now and on iTunes. I hope you enjoy the interview. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for checking out the Andy Dare Show. This is episode 44. I've got a great one for you guys with Josh Gardner. A lot of people don't know the name, but if you know Adam Carolla Show, if you know radio in general, you've heard of Deaf Frat Guy. It's a hilarious character, and he's a really funny guy. He's also a very talented musician, too. He's got a great new album called Winterbush out now, so do check it out. It's a great interview, so please stand by while I go through a couple of our new sponsors. And, well, before that, I'd just like to mention that I'm going to be on a popular podcast, There Will Be Spoilers. It's hosted by Matt Fondelier, and he's obviously the Porcelain Punisher or the Bull Bruiser from Ace Broadcasting. But Matt Fondelier is a really good guy. It's a great podcast if you like the whole world of film and movies. So it's a great episode. That's going to be coming out this Monday at therewillbespoilers.com. A really funny talk with Matt. And also on the other front, in the Midwest, I've got the Kevin Matthews Show. I've been doing every Friday. I'm going to be having a little new segment called Talkin' Tunes with Andy. And I'm just going to be bringing up, the new albums I've been listening to, shows I've been to, just bringing it up, and hopefully Kevin Matthews fans will enjoy it. I've always looked up to Kevin as a broadcaster. Him and Jim Shorts are just really funny together. And, now he's on the Steve Dahl Network. And you can find all their programming at dahl.com, DAHL.com. And you can subscribe. It's I believe it's $99.95 for the year, and you get 2 months free that way. Otherwise, I think it's $10 a month. So do support good, comedy podcasting. Steve Dahl's a legend. Kevin Matthews is a legend. They also have James Van Osdol, formerly of Q101. So it's a great network. Check it out. I'm going to be on the Kevin Matthews Show every Friday. And the segment is called Talkin' Tunes with Andy. All right, on to the sponsors. Yeah, I actually recently found this new website called Fiverr.com. That's Fiverr.com. And basically what you do is you say, I can do this thing for you for $5. And I put, I can read your website or your business on the Andy Dare Show. So I got a whole bunch of submissions. I could only take 2 just because of brevity's sake. But here we go. This one is called CatchMeIfYouKnowHow.com. And I'm going to be reading what they've got to tell you guys. This book teaches basic computer forensic to any level of computer user. You do not need to be an intermediate or advanced computer user to understand this book or to know how to implement any of the procedures. It's very easy to navigate with clear screenshots for examples. You can stop cyberbullying. You can catch your spouse cheating. You can stop a pornography addiction. You can save your team from suicide. You can save your child from a pedophile, which is always a great thing. In 2012, you need to do that. And you could stop a compulsive online gambler. Don't get me started. You could prevent mass murders or terrorism. Discover who's wasting company time. Anybody can understand it. Anyone can do it. Just find out more at CatchMeIfYouKnowHow.com. And also, from Fiverr.com, I've got FuelSavingsOnline.com. Try Mileage Max. That's with 2 X's. It reduces pollution to save our Mother Earth. It works great in both gas and diesel engines and improves gas mileage between 20 and 30%. So go to FuelSavingsOnline.com to find out more and order. Or read all about it by visiting this website, travelandfamily.us, where the success of the product has been documented. So those are the 2 new little advertisers we got from Fiverr.com. I just want to thank everybody who's checked out my page on Fiverr.com, and that's basically Fiverr.com with 2 R's, remember, /Andy Dare, and you could buy another 5-minute or a $5 segment on the next Andy Dare Show. Now I got to get into our actual sponsors. First off, I got the Man Grate, obviously American-made steel grate that it just fits over your existing, grill grate. And this thing will let you achieve steakhouse burgers, fish, poultry, get you those dark grill marks that you've been trying to get on those little coat hanger grates that you call a grill grate. Not so much. You need a Man Grate. You need that thick, huge grates that go above your existing grate. And believe me, it's barbecue season is coming around the corner. It's pretty much here in Chicago, so why not impress your friends and family with a nice grilling experience via the Man Grate? Click through the banner on my website at the top right-hand corner of my page, and you can help us wet our beaks a little bit. And by Uncle Bub's award-winning barbecue. Are you planning a corporate event, a wedding, a picnic, a lunch, or anything? Call up Uncle Bub's and get our quality catering service brought to your house. We have smokers, we have grills, we have a friendly staff of barbecue experts that can help you achieve the perfect party this summer. It's also a family-friendly restaurant in Westmont, Illinois, located at 132 South Cass. If you would like to call and inquire, the number is 630-493-9000. And check out menus and a whole bunch of different media over at UncleBubs.com. And by Secondhand Mall, also in Westmont, Illinois. That's located at 309 West Ogden Avenue. Give them a call. They buy, sell, trade. 630-810-9980. And it's a friendly environment. They have a whole selection of used power tools, musical instruments, electronics, video games, vinyl, huge vinyl selection. And it's a great place. Tell them Andy sent you for specials and offers. And check them out on the web at secondhandmall.com, a.k.a. 2ndhandmall.com. So that's about it for today, and I would like you to enjoy yourself while listening to my episode 44 interview with Josh Gardner. Hey Josh, how's it going? It's Andy.
Hey Andy, what's happening, man?
Not a whole lot. Just woke up actually. How are things? You're on the East Coast here, or what?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were in like Chicago or something.
Oh no, yeah, I'm in Chicago, but I'm still just a slacker. So.
Oh, okay.
Nice. So you got the new album out now. It's Winterbush. I've been jamming a lot to it. I like the new. You got a lot of songs with the full band instrumentation going on. Is there anything else that's really different about this album than the first one, Mr. Stinkfinger?
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, Mr. Stinkfinger was just sort of a, it's pretty raw. I mean, it's good in that way, but it was just sort of me with a just with microphone and some of them, I recorded several of the Mr. Stinkfinger songs in a studio, but that was sort of a almost odds and sods thing that I had to get out there. Those are all my a lot of old songs, and Winterbush I just set out to do a not a concept album, but a thing that had cohesion start to finish.
Nice, yeah, I can feel that on there. Almost akin to like Dylan plugging in 1966 or something. Not to blow smoke up your ass, but yeah, like I like the full band sound really works with your voice, like especially on Smoking Heroin and stuff like that. That song's hilarious.
Oh, thanks, man. That's done. Yeah, I would come up with, I write all these songs on guitar, and the Heroin song, for example, I've got a partner in Toronto, Canada, and he, he's super talented, and he like composes music for kids TV shows in Canada.
Really?
Yeah, his name's Tim Burns, and so I'll take a song like that and play it to him on the guitar, and then he'll just sort of he's probably drums are probably his best instrument, and
so he kind of like fleshes out he fleshes out like the instruments when after you bring the song to him. Or?
Yeah, like I had no idea he was going to do that whole horn jam at the end of that.
It's very like 70s arena rock. I like it.
Yeah. That's. I mean, we're just going for. We're like. All these songs are sort of folk. Well, I don't know if they're folk based, but they're acoustic guitar based. But after a certain point, you just want the music to be good and the songs to be funny, and like whatever can help that out.
Sure.
So like when Tim goes crazy and like adds a horn section, and I mean that just I think it makes it that much better. And for me, it's like it's such a stupid song about two kids going to the hospital, or the guy goes to prison from smoking heroin, but it's like the serious treatment.
Exactly.
Of a
yeah.
Song that you'd have this full band, rocking out, and my biggest influence in the comedy music realm is like Joe's Garage by Zappa.
Sure. Okay. Cool. Huh.
Where it was just such like utter commitment to sort of the not depravity, but just like
like
this song, this whole. No, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, like, he totally believes in whatever stupid stuff like Disco Fever, whatever Zappa's singing. He totally puts his, like, 100% emotion into it. You don't feel like it's a Weird Al song or something, like, almost on the corny side. He really puts his emotions into, like, the funny subject,
Right. There's this one song that it's called, it's got some German name, I think. But it's just this rock and sort of so it's almost like a computer type beat going really fast, and
sure.
It just explodes into this chorus where everyone's singing. We go, fuck me, you ugly son of a bitch. You ugly son of a bitch, fuck me. And it just builds up. That's the climax of the song. And I was like, that is just freaking genius. That like, that's what they committed to. And,
it's hilarious. And like, yeah, Zappa always had the chops to back up whatever like crazy idea he had. And like, I think you're a really good guitar player, and you write these great melodies. Have you been like doing music since like you were a teenager, or is this something like almost kind of new for you?
Well, thanks for the compliment. I don't think I'm. I don't know. I can get around on guitar okay. I do. The melodies come pretty easy though. That's that's my strong suit. So it's just, I've been playing. I started hacking around on guitar when I was teen,
sure,
high school, college, and I mean, I'm not a shredder, and I don't know. I got to a certain level, and haven't really.
And you leveled off a little.
Gone beyond that. I'm trying. I work at it every day. I try to. I try to work on my lead playing and stuff. But as far as doing the, the songwriting stuff, I know enough about the conventions and stuff that I think that I can, keep banging out songs and.
Sure, like
I don't really. Yeah. I don't use like super. I'm not using any jazz chords or anything. keep it pretty straight.
Yeah, like I can hear like a knowledge of like the pop music basics in a lot of your songs. Like who are some of your influences? Like not on the humorous side, like serious bands and singer songwriters. Like who do you listen to the most?
Well, for influences, for singer songwriters, you got to go like I'm gonna put Neil Young over Dylan.
Sure. I heard Neil's got a new album with Crazy Horse, where, but he's doing American standards, like She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain with
no way.
Yeah, back with Crazy Horse though. So at first I was so excited about a Crazy Horse album, then I heard it's gonna be all these like weird, like almost kid songs. But I think they could still rock that out, if they get some like crunchy leads on there and stuff,
Oh yeah, man. I yeah, I love Crazy Horse. They're so. I mean, they're not. They're pretty primitive.
Yeah.
Like that's what's so great about them. I like that attitude, and it just sort of.
Yeah, it doesn't all have to be like Steely Dan and Fish and all these jazz chords and stuff like that. I mean, sometimes bands like Nirvana just did it all with 3 or 4 chords. Still had the same emotion,
Right, and yeah, I love Crazy Horse rawness. They used to get a lot of shit for being not so great musically, but they got the point across.
Exactly, you feel the pain in Neil's voice.
Yeah. So Neil, and then like if I'm driving around, man, I just have the classic rock station going. I'm I'm an old Deadhead. I love the Grateful Dead.
Sure.
I love the Stones. I think everyone's got like the Beatles. I love the Kinks.
Oh yeah.
I'll take the Kinks over the Who almost.
Yeah, Ray Davies and stuff. Those guys are pretty classic.
Yeah, Ray's just he's an insane songwriter, and talk about a gift for melody. He's just he's just out of this world, man. He's probably the most underappreciated guy in rock as far as I'm concerned.
Sure, people don't even think that like he invented punk rock when I think it was his brother Dave Davies who I think he took scissors to the cone in his amp like back in 1966 or 65, making like the distorted
64.
sound and stuff. 64, really?
And it was a knitting needle.
So that helped spawn the sound pretty much.
No, just So I heard a really cool band the other day called Death out of Detroit in the early 70s. There were these three black brothers, and if you listen to like a song from 1971, it's like Black Flag in 1981. It's so freaking ahead of its time.
And what's their name?
Death.
Dat?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, I'll look it up. Huh, I haven't heard.
Yeah, and then they're now they're like based in Vermont. They're in a reggae band now.
Really? Cool. Yeah, you got a little bit of reggae influence on the new album. I heard some of those and here and there.
Yeah, I do. I love reggae. I think it's also it's easy to make reggae funny, 'cause, I don't know what it is about it. It's just, it's fun music, and so I do. Yeah, I love reggae, and I try. It's hard to do. It's you got to be pretty crack rhythm player. But we were trying to figure out there's all this stuff you do on the keyboard called the bubble, where it's real syncopated beat, and you have to play off the guitar, which is doing another rhythm part within that.
Sure. So you're doing like 16th notes on the keyboard, even though it's a slow song. You're still doing a lot of work on the keys, or?
Yeah, I mean it's like one
double
end
time?
to two end to,
Sure.
Yeah, the 60, one end to two end to three end to, and then the guitar is going like 1 and 2 and I don't know. It's tricky, especially for a white guy, man. Especially for a super white dude like me.
Hey, I feel you. Yeah, like it's almost like a different language. You got to kind of learn or try to fool your way through, So.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm working on a new album. I still, I'm definitely promoting Winterbush, and I was just up in Canada. I've been opening for Norm Macdonald and playing these songs during my stand-up act.
Whoa, nice.
Yeah, that seems to be going well. I think we are coming to Chicago sometime, maybe in May. I'm not sure.
Oh, you and Norm are coming to Chicago?
I think so.
Damn, that's awesome. How'd you end up hooking up with Norm?
I've known him. My first job in comedy was at Saturday Night Live, and I was working on Weekend Update. I was like an assistant.
Really?
And then I just started writing jokes and giving them to Norm, and then he thought I was funny, and when he went out to LA, I worked on his sitcom, and we did a pilot for Comedy Central, and I've done a lot of. I'm good friends with him, and I just started doing stand up for real, kind of recently, and he gave me a chance to open for him, and I sort of had to get an act together pretty quick, like a half an hour act,
that's pretty mind blowing, because like Norm's like his tenure on SNL doing the Weekend Update, I was really coming to my own, and that was one of the funniest eras, I believe. I mean, he liked to make the crowd so uncomfortable with his O.J. Simpson jokes and stuff like that at the time. It was just, me and my dad were just peeing our pants every Saturday night watching that,
Yeah. Well, we all got fired.
That was at the same time when Norm got canned? You got canned too, or?
Yeah.
Really? Huh. That was like the same month as like Chris Farley dying, right?
Oh, I think, or was it? I don't. Yeah, I think so. I'm not. Boy, that's.
I think I read it in the Artie Lang book that he got canned, and then Farley died, so he was having like a real shitty winter. Like I think 97, or 96, 97.
Yeah, 97. Might have been 98. I don't know. Yeah, I remember when I didn't know Chris Farley well. My wife was very good friends with him. I mean, he was just a super nice guy. When my wife's sister died, Chris just put out this huge bouquet of flowers, and was just a super kind guy, and so yeah, people were just really, really upset about that.
It sucked because I remember he came back to host only a couple of weeks or a month before he died, and everybody was saying, I guess he was just at the worst point, you could tell. And that episode is hilarious, but you can just tell he's, hurting inside. He's just full of darkness at that point, and probably no looking back. And of course, a couple weeks later, he'd be gone. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, and he's a Wisconsin guy.
Sure, yeah, Midwest guy. Yeah, you can't go wrong. And like it seems like Norm has some of that darkness too. I mean, with the gambling and stuff, but he's a much healthier frame of mind, I think Norm's got, right?
He's physically healthier.
Yeah.
But I'll leave it at that.
Leave it at that. Yeah.
But no, he's great. I mean, I love. It's fun to be around him, and it's nice to get out of Maine.
Sure, yeah, I liked hearing him on the Corolla show too, because Corolla's trying to get him to get his driver's license finally. I guess he doesn't have the license yet, so.
Yeah, right.
Wouldn't hurt,
How do you? Yeah, so how did you get in with all those Corolla guys?
Just basically one at a time. I'm friends with the superfan Giovanni Giorgio, and he's like an encyclopedia of Corolla pretty much. And he's out here in Chicago, so he got me to meet Adam. I've been a fan of Adam's for, since like 95 when he took over for Ricky Rackman. I was pretty young. I was like 12, 13 at the time, but I just always loved Corolla. Then, that turned into the Man Show. That turned into Loveline on MTV. Then just kept watching Crank Yankers. Just kept up with them throughout the years. Then I lost touch with him a couple years when he was just on California radio. And, as soon as he started the podcast, I just re-upped my investment in Corolla and haven't missed an episode of the podcast. Slowly interviewed pretty much everybody on their show besides Adam. So hopefully he'll be next in the coming months. But, yeah, had a blast talking to his wife about Springsteen. Talked to Bald Brian. I'm having Allison Rosen on. So, yeah, I really appreciate everybody there. Everybody who's dealing with Corolla pretty much couldn't be a nicer person. So,
yeah.
How did you meet Corolla? Was that through the Man Show, or did you know him before then?
No, it was through the Man Show. I went from Saturday Night Live to the Man Show pilot, and it was Cousin Sal and the guy who plays Jake Bird on Kimmel.
Sure.
His name's Tony Barbieri. It was the three of us. We were the three writers on the Man Show pilot, and met Adam for the first time. He was just comes in and sits down wearing his sweatpants and just starts telling stories. I mean, exactly the same. And
sure.
Then so I worked on 3 seasons of the Man Show, and then I worked on Crank Yankers, and Adam. We wrote a movie together.
It was at the Hammer, or was that the Windy City Heat?
No, it was Deaf Frat Guy Showdown at Havasu.
Really? Did that come out or no?
No.
Oh, okay.
We always we hold out hope, but it's just tough to get movies made. So he's just Adam's super generous, and he's helped me a lot.
Yeah, it seems like he would bend over backwards for anybody that's in his loose family, or whatever you would call it, his company of friends there. He seems like he would do anything for you. So.
Well, he'd do anything for anyone, man, even if it's a hobo on the street.
Really?
Well, I don't know about that. Maybe that's stretching it.
And how's Kimmel? And are you writing for Kimmel now? I know I've seen you a couple times within the last month. I saw you as Santorum's brother. How are things over at Jimmy?
Oh, good. I did it last night. I had these lights though that were so bright, man, because I was worried about it being too dim. So the lights were so bright, I look like when those hamsters are just born, that pink color they have.
I feel your pain. Like I'm blonde, Irish looking. Like I used to be in a band, and whenever those lights would hit you up on stage, you just feel like you're iridescent, glow in the dark or something. Like.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well. Jimmy's like another. I mean, he's just beyond generous, and really is almost. We're all like family in a way, Just I don't know, something about that Man Show thing. The people that we're all pretty loyal to each other, I suppose, and. Jimmy, he's hosting the Emmys, and he's so huge, but he'll, man, he just he does a lot of little things for people, and
Sure, he's probably like the same guy that was creating that Man Show pilot 13 years ago, pretty much.
Well, I mean, you can't go unscathed, being one of the biggest guys on television. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but he used to have, up until a couple years ago, I mean, he'd have our whole crew over every Sunday for football, and and I mean, he would just cook all day and make these incredible meals, and Adam would be there holding court. And
I'm so envious of like Jimmy's cooking thing, because I work at a barbecue restaurant. I'm all about the barbecue. Like, we got smokers and grills and all that stuff. And I hear he's got like pizza ovens and smokers. He's doing pigs and stuff like that. Man, I could totally enjoy eating some Kimmel grub,
I got to get you over to Maine, man. We need a good barbecue restaurant. I'll set you up with a truck and everything.
Sure, yeah. We're actually investing in a food truck right now, trying to jump onto that bandwagon. Just going to drive through Chicago, try to hit up like, big corporations and stuff, just hang out outside during the lunch hour, ring the bell, see if they'll all start lining up. Who knows?
Yeah. What kind of music do you like?
Pretty much I like everything, every genre besides like classical or ethnic music, just because like I worked in a record store after high school. So I'm kind of old school where like, I'm only 28, but I'm pretty much, my musical tastes are a lot before then. I had to soak it all up, everything from Sinatra to like the 60s. I mean, I can totally love the Grateful Dead, the Kinks. Even up through like the 90s, I like rap music. I even rapped for a while. My name was Swayze. And, I love Nas, love, Beastie Boys, Tribe Called Quest, Dr. Dre, all that kind of stuff. But really, I'm pretty much a child of like the 90s alternative, like the Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, Beck, Radiohead, stuff like that. I'm still pretty much a sucker for any of that kind of stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I played in bands coming up. I just kind of got sick of doing the whole band grind out here in Chicago. It's hard to get people to come out when it's 10 degrees outside with a blizzard warning. So yeah. So I got kind of sick of sending Facebook invites. Hey, come see us. Come pay the cover charge. So now I'm just talking with people all across the country. Anybody who's got like an interesting story, I'll have on. So, I'm talking to Matt Pinfield later on today, and I've been able to grow it, guest by guest. It's actually been a blast this last 2 years doing this. So
sweet, yeah. That's it's a great idea. I mean, it's Matt Pinfield. He's great, man. He knows his stuff. Yeah,
he's considered the rock and roll encyclopedia, so I'm going to try to stump him tonight. I hope I can. I doubt I can do it, but who knows? I can give it a try. So.
Well, warm up on me, man. I'm no slouch in the rock trivia department.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I actually I was going to tell you, I've other people I've interviewed. I've interviewed some cool people. Like, you ever heard of Steve Albini?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was awesome. He like totally opened up his studio to me. He said,
he produced Nevermind.
Or no, he produced In Utero. Butch Vig produced Nevermind. But yeah, you're close though. He produced In Utero by Nevermind. He produced the Pixies. Oh, a trick?
Yeah. I was trying to trick you. I knew it was in Utero.
That's good. Yeah, not the average person wouldn't know that. So this guy was totally nice. He's got this a reputation of being like a real punk, like indie guy who will put his nose up at anything. But no, couldn't be more wrong. This guy totally opened his studio up. Said, "Why don't we do the interview at my place?" He lives above his studio. This thing is so plush, right in the middle of Chicago. It's called Electrical Audio, and the guy was just couldn't be nicer fella. Had a bunch of interesting stories about like Iggy Pop. He produced a Stooges record. Stuff like that, so he was really cool.
Did he open his heart to you?
He opened his body and his soul to me too. No, yeah, he opened his heart, and then he went after the interview. He says, "Okay, you guys can just let yourself out. I'm gonna go talk to the missus." So he just went upstairs, and we go, "Shit, we didn't get a photo with Steve Albini. Go up and get him. Go up and get him." And then at that point, the doors close. You don't want to be knocking on Steve's dormitory, or whatever his.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just took a picture at like by the board and stuff, and we just let ourselves out. And I'm thinking,
man.
yeah,
He was probably upstairs bawling his old lady.
yeah, that's what we're thinking. Or watching us on camera.
Oh, that's
on
true
the closed circuit, yeah. But yeah, so that was really cool. Met a lot of cool people doing this. You said, and I forgot to mention that you do the deaf frat guy. A lot of people love that character. I was gonna say, is it okay if we say that you're the deaf frat guy? I did the same thing to Paul Gilmartin, the Representative Richard Martin guy.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I don't want to pull back the curtain on you. He's like, what are you talking about? I don't take myself seriously. This is just a character I'm doing. So is it pretty much the same way? Yeah.
Absolutely.
How'd you even think of that character? Because it's so original and different of an idea.
Well, that was born out of the Man Show, and that was just like Corolla coming by, and he'd have his bits like he had this great kung fu instructor bit that makes you like demonstrates all these moves, and he's like, okay, but come at me slower, and
sure,
so like we just do these bits all day long, and the deaf frat guy, I don't know, I just a frat guy on his own is not funny. A deaf guy on his own is kind of funny, but if you put them together, then it becomes really funny. Because it's just a stupid, like, it's just crazy. Because, stuff that, like, a frat guy, if I'm like, hey, we're going to get 3 kegs tonight, man, and get the, Phi Beta Chi girls over. But if you go, tonight we're going to get 3 kegs and get the Phi Beta Chi girls over.
Yeah, it's even better, yeah, for sure.
So I don't know. It's just sort of. I always say this, man. I'm not. It's not really about making fun of a deaf person. It's making fun of a frat guy. And I'm not like, I got nothing against frat guys. I was one, and I was in a college, man. I was in one in college, and we had the fucking vodka ice luge and. Just all that stuff. It's such a funny world to me because it's like they take partying so seriously.
Yeah, they sure do. And then you throw in the deafness in there, and it's just another level. So.
Right. So that's and Adam always loved that character, so it was cool that I was able to resurrect it, or not even just erect it. Period on his L.A. radio show. Get it on Crank Anchors a couple times.
Yeah.
But it kind of really came to life. On that radio show, and then the podcast, not as much, but it's just it's fun for me because when I'm in that character, I can kind of take the piss out of Adam a little bit, and call him on stuff, and no one really it takes on Adam, but I can be like. Dude, Poochie's uncle says, that this is sounding like morning zoo. That you're starting, you're starting to become a cliche of yourself, bro. And
so you get like invincibility to talk shit to Adam a little bit, yeah.
A little bit. I don't talk too much shit, but it's so yeah. I love that character, man. I'm trying to get something. I'd love to do something with it on a broader scale. I've got the deaffratguy.com website, and I try to sell stuff on it, but without a big platform.
Yeah,
I like when I was on Adam's radio show in LA. Like I started this fake fraternity, Delta Phi Gamma.
Sure.
And I'd be on the radio, and it turns out that, they get radio in prison. So, like, I had these guys were from the Corcoran State Penitentiary in California. And they're like, I don't know how they got email either, but they're like, they're like, hey, bro, we started a chapter up here. Can you send us some stickers and shit? And so I started making stickers and, keychains, and, stuff like that. But it was just classic that these guys would, they'd be in their cell, like, drinking Pruno, and they were like a legitimate Delta Phi chapter.
I thought that was a bit. So that is real, huh? That the people in the prison.
It is real,
wow.
man. There's like a chapter in Canada, in like Mexico. There's a large presence in Mexico. I think a lot of people that didn't go to college still want to be in a fraternity.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's got that appeal. But, like, just me running it by myself, man, it's just kind of overwhelming.
Man, and I can see, like, a similarity between inmates to fraternity in a little bit. I mean, like hazing people and dumping their heads in the toilet and stuff like that. I could see that.
Yeah, like a rival. Yeah, like a rival, frat in prison's like a rival gang that'll, like, stick you in the shower.
Exactly. Yeah, like the Aryans are the other frat. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. That's weird. I totally thought that was a bit.
The Aryans are like the Teeks.
Yeah. Exactly, except there's no sex. I mean, there's no straight sex. So, yeah.
Right. But, so, I don't know. I'd love to get a TV show. I'm sort of pitching one around now about that, but
you ever thought about just doing like a web series, just something on YouTube?
I do make these little YouTube videos for Deaf Rat Guy. They're all on there if you type in, just Deaf Rat Guy. I made a couple. I made one that did pretty well in terms of hits, and I don't know. I think that you got to dig a little bit, but
sure. Yeah, I've seen all your Gerhard videos, Gerhard Ranke.
Oh yeah.
That was cool. That was a actual Comedy Central show for a couple seasons, correct?
One season.
Just one.
One small season, but I did a bunch of after Comedy Central. Canceled it around the same time they canceled
Man Show, right?
The Man Show, or they didn't cancel it. I don't know. I'd like to think that they were, because the ratings for that show, Wanderlust, the Gerhard thing, the ratings were pretty good. And, we had a terrible time slot. We were Saturday at 11:30. And it happened. Jimmy and Adam produced it, and it happened to coincide with Jimmy leaving the Man Show to do, or it's either the Man Show or Crank Yankers. But he was going to ABC. He got this gig, and they're like, well, you still have to do the Man Show, and he's like, "Fuck that, man." Of course. So I think they wanted to, like, sort of wash their hands of anything those guys were involved in, and I may have been a victim of that. I mean, the reviews were really good. Like, TV Guide was like, we got best new show of the season. And
so how come you got that time slot? Was it like a mature rating on there or something?
Well, it was, 11:30, back then Mad TV was still on. So you had Mad TV, Saturday Night Live, and then...
That's tough, yeah.
This, little Gerhard. And, and then, of course, they're like, I don't know, it's kind of weird, I don't think people will get the idea of like a foreign travel show host, and like 3 years later, Borat comes out as the biggest comedy movie ever.
You're right. I didn't put the two of those together. Like, yeah, he kind of.
I mean, so it's like, well,
he had,
I don't know, that
he had better timing.
Yeah. Yeah, that eats at me a little bit, but
you're doing fine though. You don't need that. You're going on tour with Norm. That's pretty awesome. So, and you're saying you're just in Canada right now, or what?
I'm in Maine right now.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to I recall Chicago being on the list, but I have to check in, and I know we're going to like Winnipeg and Alberta and all these kind of small places, but
cool.
That's if you can get people to crack up in Winnipeg, I think you can do it anywhere. Very
true. Like, so what kind of stand-up are you doing? Are you doing characters and music, or is it just more of a straight-up stand-up set?
It's about half. Well, no, it's based around my musical. It's based around my songs. It's just like going to see. I would imagine it would be like a Neil Young solo acoustic concert with the stories and in between, and
cool.
But my stuff's like, he's got that song Mr. Soul. I got a song called Mr. Stinkfinger.
I see parallels there, though. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some parallels. Both have Mr.
Yeah, look, we can make it work is great, too. I love that thing about the Irish people. They value good times over family. I totally agree with that one.
Well, yeah, you can vouch for that, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's not just a lot of people value good times over family.
Yeah,
but,
that was...
Oh, go ahead.
So what kind of stuff is going to be on the new album? Are you going to still be doing the full band arrangements, or are you going back to the acoustic?
That's a good question. I think I'm going to mix it up. But I don't want to get too cute with the arrangements. But,
yeah, it makes it like harder to bring live on stage, correct? Right.
Yeah, precisely. And I don't know. I could have gotten the last album out so much quicker if I didn't have to, rely on other musicians and their schedules, and it's just infinitely slower to have other people involved.
Sure.
So I was thinking about maybe, really paring it down and just doing something kind of simple, a quick, another quick acoustic album while the next one, because I want to do a lot of stuff with the guy in Toronto, Tim Burns. The really, like the stuff that's really heavily produced, I like doing with him.
And the other stuff you can just do by yourself, pretty much, right?
Yeah, and with some friends, because I've got some friends that are, good, professional level musicians, and but I just sort of like I know that some of this stuff on the album, there's some, things that are offbeat or some of the phrasing, but I don't want it to sound like too produced. That's almost a conscious thing.
Sure.
It's almost like those mistakes are in there for a reason.
Sure, give some personality.
Yeah, I mean, when there are five people, when a mistake is there, it's pretty clear. So they could have been taken out, but they're in there.
So how did you get the idea to do that Tet Tet song? And it's kind of like a Quiet Storm, slow jam, Jodeci kind of sound, right?
That's another pure, that's Tim Burns. Jimmy Kimmel found that letter you know, it's an actual letter from this middle school kid breaking up with his girlfriend, and the teacher confiscated the note and put it on the internet, I guess. So the song is, you know, I mean, there's nothing, you know, except the part that goes, you know, say you'll let me, that, the pretty, that. You know, that's us, but
the rest is the letter, huh?
The rest is the letter. But that song, you know, that's pure Tim again, and just, you know, that's like the work of a professional, you know, composer that can just do that from. I'm not sure if those are live drums or not. Most of, you know, that whole album's live drums, and you know, there's not much MIDI on it on Winterbush. So, you know, that I'm proud of that, because, you know, you can do nowadays, you can do a lot of shit from, you know, a computer keyboard and
sure, yeah,
you know, MIDI, but I do take pride in having, you know, real instruments. But the Tet-Tats one is just such a different, you know, such a radical departure.
Exactly, like R. Kelly.
Yeah, right. I just think it's kind of funny that it's in there with all those other, you know, earnest folk songs.
Yeah, and you even shot a little video clip for that one, right?
Yeah. I guess you have to type Josh Gardner Tet-Tats, see it on YouTube. I haven't quite figured that out.
Cool, I'll put it up on my page.
Yeah. Yeah, I need someone who's a crack, like, you know, YouTube guy and, you know, web presence, because I just, you know, I have, well, I have enough time. I don't know. I'm just not very technical with that stuff.
Sure, I think Carollo even said on the show that he thinks you're one of the funniest guys ever. You just need, like, somebody to harness all that and really put it to good use or something. I think he's been saying that in the last couple of weeks, actually. So.
Yeah, every time he's been hammering that point home. I'll say that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm married. I have 2 kids. You know, I you know, my wife works, and
sure.
You know, I do what I can. You know, I don't.
You got a lot of stuff on your plate. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a writer, but, you know, that's what I do mostly. So my main thing is writing, and then, you know, after dark is when I do the music and do the Kimmel bits and you know, all that stuff. So I try. I see what he's saying, but I'm not like hungry to. I'm not hungry to be famous, or, you know, I never have
sure.
been. That's never been my path. You know, I was doing that Gerhardt thing, or I did the show on Adult Swim called Solve the Moment, and, you know, people would recognize me and stuff, and you know, I'm not saying I got hounded or anything, but it was starting to get to the point where, you know, I was getting stopped a lot, and, you know, people were like, hey, you know, and it was flattering, but I was like, I don't want this, man. I you know,
yeah.
I'm not like, I just, you know, I'm pretty introverted. You know, I live out in the middle of nowhere by choice, and you know, I'm told I'm funny, so I don't squander that gift, but I'm not in this thing to become like, you know, the next Dane Cook.
Sure, yeah, I wouldn't want that either. People say the same thing about me living out in the suburbs of Chicago instead of living in Chicago, you know. But yeah, I just wanted to get out of that rat race, you know. It's just kind of a headache. I lived down there for a while, but now I just enjoy having a backyard, having a grill, having a SUV, just living out, having my own, you know, my own little kingdom out here. It's kind of nice being like the big fish in a little pond instead of just being one of millions, you know, faceless people. You know?
Absolutely, man. And, you know, I think that, you know, if Yeah, I don't know. I think that, you know, the stuff that Adam says about me is like, it would be true if I were desperately trying to make it in that regard. But I'm, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I kind of do things the way I like them, and you know, I'm happy with
Sure, you've made it, man. Come on.
well,
writing for Kimmel.
I don't know. It's a pain in the ass to you know, I don't know. I heard that, like, you know, Sacha Baron Cohen, who, you know, maybe some people say that I you know, could have had that kind of success. I mean, that dude's miserable. He's a total douchebag, and you know, that's what happens. I'm sure he wasn't a douchebag before.
Sure. Yeah, it gets to your head, and then you get that blown ego out, and it's just it goes downhill from there, and then.
Yeah, when you're at the bottom, then you can only go up.
Exactly. Yeah. So you live out in the middle of Maine. Is it like a small town? Everybody knows your name, or what's the deal out there?
No, it's not that small. It's we got some the guy that sang American Bye Bye Miss American Pie lives here.
Oh, Don McLean?
Yep. And there's some like Hollywood movie directors and, you know, a bunch of writers, you know, pretty famous writers that live here. It's a really nice town. It's on the coast. It's like where the mountains meet the coast of Maine. So there's like a ski area where you can be skiing and like see these, you know, ships going.
Oh, geez, that sounds beautiful. Damn.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a fantastic place. I just wanted to get my kids out of LA for a year, and it turned out it's like, well, living here is easy, and you know, I can do my writing from here. And you know, LA, as you know, I mean, it's insanely expensive, and I don't know. It's just, you know, I like LA. I just I get kind of bummed out when I'm there too long.
Good place to visit, not a good place to raise a family, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be back there soon. It's nice to go, you know, back and forth between the West Coast city and the East Coast, you know, small town.
So are you traveling a lot then because you live out there? Or?
Yeah, I was just in LA for like 5 weeks, and you know, went, you know, doing stand up in that time. You know, I'm about to go out on this next tour. I don't know, it might be a week and a half. I gotta talk to Norm about that, but so yeah, this is a nice base, and you know, it's just it's simple living, and you know, we do plan on going back to LA, but not unless it's absolutely necessary, I think. Which, you know, if I got a, you know, job that lasted for a long time.
Sure. Yeah, I could understand that. Want to separate home and business for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think that about does it here. So you're going out with Norm, doing stand-up up in Canada, might be coming down to the States. I will have to check out that Chicago date for sure. Working on a new album. The current album is Winterbush, and you can grab that on Amazon, click through the Corolla banner or whatever. Also on iTunes, right?
Yep.
And they're pretty cheap. I think on Amazon I saw Mr. Stinkfinger's only like $6. The other one's $8. So really just chump change for a bunch of funny songs, great instrumentation, great melodies too. You can catch him on. It's the price
like
of what?
2 lattes.
Yeah, pretty much like 2 Starbucks coffees. You can get his whole catalog. So why not do it,
right,
folks? And you're going to be returning to Corolla anytime soon, or?
I'd love to.
He's got the new studio too. So.
I know. It's nice. saw that. As soon as I'm back there, Adam's always super generous about having me on, and this way I can defend myself, in person.
So you don't want that fame and stardom, yeah. It wasn't yours to want in the first place, but yeah. So check him out on tour. Check out the stand-up. It's gonna be awesome. Hopefully, I can check you out in Chicago. How about the websites? You can follow you on Twitter. Is that Def Frat Guy at Def Frat Guy?
Yep, that's what I do mostly. I got this other, I got it's called @2 Josh Gardner, but I'm not. I have too much fun doing the Def Frat Guy.
Yeah, I love the stuff about Lance Armstrong too. You can't say he's all balls.
Right, he just got made the face of Orloff vodka.
So that's at Def Frat Guy. Any other websites or anything?
No, that's just my stuff's on YouTube mostly, and just if I could urge people to buy Winterbush, I think they'll be pleased.
They'll definitely be pleased. Very cool. Smoking Heroin. I Love Regina. Bunch of pseudo hits on there. Really interesting records. So, yeah, on behalf of Josh Gardner, this is Andy Dare signing off for The Andy Dare Show.
Be sure to follow Andy on Twitter, and that's at Andy Dare, ANDYDERER. And like our show on Facebook. That's facebook.com/The Andy Dare Show. There's videos at youtube.com/Andrew Martin Dare, and it all leads back to theandydareshow.com. Support our show by supporting our sponsors, The Mandrake, Uncle Bub's award-winning barbecue, and Secondhand Mall. Thank you so much for listening.